Hello, and thank you so much for listening to A Glimpse of the Kingdom. I'm Dr. David Pendergrass. I was listening to a well-respected preacher on the radio the other day. He sounded very Baptist. I can say that because I was raised in Baptist churches, but long, slow vowels when saying God, raising and lowering his voice frequently to sound dramatic and other such tricks. Well, he's dead now, but at the time, he was the leader of a very, very large congregation. He would wear nice, expensive suits. His messages were based in general upon the Bible. Well, that's cool. I must have seen 100 similar preachers in my lifetime. I know that there are people who are very well known for their preaching ability. And I remember when I was in my master's degree, I remember several professors speaking of people like Tom Long as almost superhuman. Tom Long is a respected preacher and has written books on the subject. I was raised hearing all of my life that the reason we dress up on Sundays is because we are giving God our very best. I remember when a former pastor of mine called for a casual Sunday once a year. I always wanted to ask him, what gives you the authority to tell people they can't give God their best? I'm just making some reflections on preaching in my experience. I think preachers should be good. And by good, I mean that preachers should do two salient things. Number one, should be very well prepared. They should be. Two, they should speak conversationally to me about the kingdom of God. Really, that's mainly it. I get dressed up. I drive to church. I want to hear a word from God. I want to be transformed a little bit more into the citizen of the kingdom of God that I will be after death. I want to be reminded that this is not my home. That is, my value is not found in this world. I'm not being an escapist. My value is not in this world. I don't care about keeping a positive attitude. I don't care about the weather or a comedic quib. I don't care if you're clever or if you think you're clever. I care if God will speak through you. That's it. That's it. I remember a few years ago hearing about this huge event on my local Christian radio station back in Houston, Texas. It was an entire conference of, get this, worship leaders. And the advertisements would list some of the big names and speak of them as the, quote, best worship leaders today in America. Absolutely amazing. Imagine bringing in 125 tour guides from Israel and promoting the event as the biggest gathering of tour guides who are from Israel. Who would give a rip? I couldn't care less if they are the best, though they shouldn't be incompetent. I care if they can show me the Holy Land. I don't go all the way to Israel to interview the tour guide. Imagine traveling to Israel and you pay all the money. You do all the background checks. You do all the work. You pack up. You get a whole team of people. You go to Israel and you sit and talk to the tour guides for 10 days. Then you go home. Make no mistake about it. You are simply a means to an end when you are a preacher or a worship leader. That's all you are. You're not the goal. If your job is done right, I'll forget you're there and time travel to the first century. I'll see an entirely different country. That's how it is with music ministers and pastors. I didn't come here to praise you. You're not the point. If you think you're the point, then you're the last person who needs to be leading me in worship or in the Bible. You are the last person if you think the goal is you. I've never heard of anyone running down the aisle to accept Jesus because the guitarist played like a rock star and the preacher could make God a 3-syllable word, or because the PowerPoint was so colorful. But I simply can't get away from the fact that if Jesus entered into nearly every single church with their fine-talking, slick-dressed, confident preachers, to which some of you are getting real mad right now and say, I love my preacher. Well, that's good. That's good. I'm glad you love him. I'm saying I just can't get away from the fact that it seems to me that Jesus would come to a lot of churches these days and he'd be asked to leave. Sorry, sir. You need to dress up for the Lord's house. You can't come here dressed like this. Are those flip-flops? You look dirty. Come back Monday morning and see a low-level minister, and we'll see if we can get you some help. Several Jews surrounding the Jerusalem landscape in the first century believed in the same type of thing. If we play dress up, call it reverence, then it really must be reverence. A cave for bandits is what Jesus called the temple. They had the right talk, the right look, the nicest clothes in order to give their best for God, and the most notable reputations as orators and biblical guides. And they were failures. They were failures. Their attempts at reverence simply turned into pompous pride. Now, I like preachers who are nice orators, sure. I like worship leaders who actually are trained in music theory, of course. I'm most certainly not advocating that we should have a bunch of ignorant Johnny-come-latelys trying to do a grown-up's job. I'm not. Yet, I can't get over the haunting suspicion that thousands of churches have driven themselves into the exact same place the Jerusalem leadership found itself. Well, how do we know if we're failing at our role as a church or as the church? Well, maybe it's simple. Maybe we can ask this one question. When a person leaves the sermon, the song, the lesson, who do they talk about the most? Jesus or the tour guide? Lord, I sure hope that you'd be welcome in my church. And I hope that if you would be kicked out, I would have the guts to walk out with you. God bless you. See you next time. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to A Glimpse of the Kingdom. I hope you enjoyed the podcast. If you want more, go to davidpendergrass.com, davidpendergrass.com. If you look at the top, you'll see various tabs that have sermons I've preached, a link to all the podcasts I've done so far, a link to my consulting website. For more information about my consulting, see davidpendergrassconsulting.com. Also, you'll see information about the books I've written that are found on amazon.com. So davidpendergrass.com, one-stop shop, all that you need. If you want to reach out to me, follow me on Twitter, at Dr. D. Pendergrass, at Dr. D. Pendergrass, and send me a message. I'll see you online. I gotta run and tell about what the Lord has done for me.